And we're back with that Park 150. Now, you may be asking yourself, what in the wide world of sports is going on here where the tone stack used to be? And what's up with this stuff here? Well, this burned area of the board did more damage than just discolor this. There was a lot of leaky DC. So with this tube pulled and this resistor up there, I had like 3 volts there. And that cut in the board between these 2 turrets and this turret and the rest of that, got rid of that. And that was kind of an ugly but necessary thing. And it's sealed with clear nail polish. If this were almost any other amp, I'd replace this board and just eliminate this entirely. I have contained the problem. But here were these 3 these 3 turrets where the tone stack was connected. There's so much bleed here. Now here at this turret, let me turn the master down for this so we're not hearing all the crackle. At this turret, we've got 550 volts. We're supposed to have 550 volts there. At this turret, we've got 260. At these turrets, which have nothing connected to them, we've got 12. It should be 0. Here at this turret that was for the treble cap, we've got 1.9 volts. Here at the turret that would have been for the bass cap, we got 3.7. And here at this turret that would be for the mids cap, we've got 143 volts. So that's just way too much leakage. These cathodes are okay. And this one is now okay. That noise you hear is normal. That sound that you hear there is normal. But we got the leaky DC off these connections. And I'm very sorry that someone in the past let that burn and get to the point where this happened. But the only fix for this would be to get another board in here and move everything. And we're trying to avoid that expense. So, well, yes, I did an ugly thing here. It was for the good, for the greater good, for the greater good. One of us. All right, let's move over and see where the tone stack stuff went. All right, now we have this lovely work here. I've got a terminal strip installed here, and there was just enough room to do this without interfering with the output transformer. And the entire tone stack has been moved here, and the cap from the wiper of the volume, which feeds the next stage, has been moved here because this had a lot of leakage on the original board. And so I was able to reuse the original Radio Spares treble cap and the original Iskra resistor there. Sadly, the 3 Philips mustards, well, 2 of the Philips mustards were not long enough for the span, even with this elevated board. And the remaining Philips mustard, I didn't want to cut it short to do this. So I will return those with the amp, and the owner has got other Parks and Marshalls. Those Philips mustards can find a good home as needed in one of them down the line. Hopefully one that's not been butchered the way this board was, or burned, I should say. So I've got my good old standby Vishay caps that I love. And while they look different than a Philips mustard, for those of you who don't know, this is a Philips mustard cap. It's made by the Philips company. It's kind of a mustardy yellow color, hence the name. They're good sounding caps. People ascribe way too much magic to them. They're a polyester cap. These are polyester caps. These are really high quality. I don't think anyone's going to hear the difference in material. Now, if you have one of these that says it's a 22 nanofarad and it measures 21.9 nanofarad, and you got an old Philips that says 22 nanofarad, but you measure it and it's actually 28 nanofarad because time, you'll hear a difference between the 2 of them. But the difference you're hearing is the variation in capacitance, not the actual material difference. And you're actually not going to hear much of a difference between a 22 and a 28. The way these things work with the high pass and low pass filters, these networks, the curves are really soft, and you know, you're not hearing a hard and fast thing. So the knee of a EQ curve would be at a little bit different place, but You wouldn't really want to hear it that much. People ascribe way too much magic to these things. Now I have got the amp so that with the master on 10 and the channel volumes off, this is the noise floor. But this is an artificially high noise floor. So I shield the preamp. That noise floor drops even more. Now, if I touch the shield while it's on the chassis, I increase the noise floor. And that makes me think that the grounding of the AC chassis connection could be a little bit better. But I'm going to revisit that. I've got a minor laundry list of last things to check on this once I'm happy with the overall behavior. So once the chassis is in the cabinet and it is shielded, this is the noise floor with the master volume on 10. This is a lot quieter than a lot of lower wattage Marshall Plexi styles with the masters on 10. But for right now, I'm going to take this off, which artificially does raise the noise floor. I'm going to turn the master down to about noon so that I can stand to be in the small room with this thing. And let's hear how it's sounding now. All right, let's start with channel 1. That's with a Telecaster. That was the Telecaster bridge you're hearing. So this channel's got a lot of oomph to it. I've got the treble middle bass at noon, the presence at noon, the master at noon. So that was with the channel volume at about 1 o'clock. Let's bring it up from there. I doubt the owner will ever have it there that high, but I'm pretty sure he'll use it in places like this. That's right up about noon on that. So let me back down the bass just a hair, bring the mids and treble up a little bit for this channel, bring the presence up a little bit for this channel, and that would be more like this. Sound a lot better with the master up higher than this. Starting about 1 o'clock, it gets really incredible. But I am in a relatively small room, and even with the master at 1 o'clock, that is just too loud for me to subject myself to. I've already done this on a dummy load, confirmed that everything's stable, there's no oscillation, because I don't want to have this thing dimed in this small room. Aside from stressing my speakers, it stresses my ears. Let me turn the channel volume down and the master all the way up though real quick. Gives you a sense of the cleans on this thing. Now this is a dark channel. If this were an amp I were building, I would not have it get quite this dark at these lower volumes. As you raise the volume up, the darkness does stop. It does decrease. So when you find the balance right where it's not really overdriven so much as just singing, the treble begins to be more normal. bit louder to get that particular thing happening. But that's the Allman Brothers kind of thing there, where it's not really overdrive so much. It's just getting that channel where the compression kicks in and it stops being quite so dark, and the amp volume does a lot of the work for you. Just a brief taste of a little bit higher volume on that. Anyway, if I were more warmed up or a different player over here and I had this thing turned up a little bit more, just a little bit more, this thing would be pretty massive. I will probably bring in a better player for the real playing test of this amp when it's done. So let me bring this back, everything to noon, and go to channel 2, the brighter channel. Staying with the telly. Hey Brad, check it out. My friend Brad, great tech in Australia, was busting me out for always playing that same kind of riff when I pick up a guitar and plug into an amp. And it's kind of an autopilot thing I do, but it does tell me an awful lot about the frequency response of an amplifier. For instance, this channel, in stock form, doesn't have the low end response that the channel does, and needs to have this bass turned up just a little bit. Though this is a bass shy telly, so. Is that the channel volume tone controls can be adjusted to get a more balanced response. Put it back to flat because that increased bass is not your friend when you get to the higher gain stuff. And that noise you're hearing is as I get physically closer to the amp with my hand, or the pickups get closer to the transformer. It is a quiet amp, but it's 150 watts. It wants to amplify any signal that gets into it. See, that was with the channel volume, about 11:30. Let's go up to about 1 o'clock. You haven't seen me moving any knobs here. That's just all of the Telecaster's volume controls and pickups in the right hand. My right hand may not be the world's best, but it's up to most jobs. Got me through high school. I'll bring the master down a little bit on this and bring the gain up. Oh, let's just time it. What the hell? Now when you do that, let me When you do that, it gets really bright. So we turn down the presence, turn down the treble, bring up the bass a little bit. I don't think the owner will ever play this dimed, but it's possible. And again, this is with a Telecaster bridge pickup, so this is kind of the worst case scenario. Even worst case scenario, I think that's pretty damn good. I don't think he'll ever be diming it. I think about 1 o'clock is where he's going to be loving that. I'm not sure if this is going to come out at all well in this recording because the phone mic has so much compression. But I'm going to lower the master volume to get this thing about as loud as a Princeton reverb. And I'm going to use my judgment on that. I'm not going to get out a dB meter. Definitely do lose some natural overdrive at those really low settings, which is, just the way things work. And I cannot change physics just because it would be convenient. Maybe a little bit louder than that. Let's say a really aggressive Princeton reverb. Sounds really nice. Is it the full sound of the amp? No, but usable. Now let's go to about 11 o'clock to say if you wanted to use this on a small stage. So that's the master volume at like 11 o'clock, and that's pretty darn good. That's like deluxe reverb loud for a gig. Real quick, I'll just bring the master back up to about 1 o'clock and bring that channel volume down to about 1 o'clock as well. Just get those dialed in just a little bit, tweaking, a little more presence. I am really, really pleased with where this is at. I'm going to show a few more things on this in another video and hopefully get a better playing test. The owner is actually about to go out on be out of town for a week or two, so I need to hold on to this for a little bit longer. Oh, shucky darn.